Now we move on to question 19. Question 19. 18 cards are numbered from 11 to 29. If one card is chosen at random, what is the probability that it contains the digit 2? So first we have to put down the data from 11 to 29. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. So this is the data from 11 to 29. And the question says that if one card is chosen at random, what's the probability that it contains the digit 2? To calculate for probability is simply the number of events over the sample space. The sample space is also total number of possible outcomes. So in this case, the sample space will be the number of the data. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then the number of the event. What is the event? The event is that we are selecting a number that contains the digit 2. So look through the data. Which of them contains the digit 2? 12 contains the digit 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you have 11 of the data containing the digit 2. So your number of events is 11. I take it again. The event is to select a number that has the digit 2. 11 has no 2. 13 has no 2. So you select the numbers that have 2 as part of it. So 12 has 2. From 20 to 29 also has 2. That will give you a total of 11. So 11 is your number of events. Then probability. The question says one card is chosen as random. What's the probability that it contains a digit 2? So probability digit 2. That will be number of the event over your sample space. That's all. So probability is as simple as that. All right. So let's look at our options. So 18 cards are numbered from 11 to 29. All right. So that's for 19. We proceed to the next question, 20. Find the value of x if x over 4 plus 1 equals 5. X over 4 plus 1 equals 5. Find the value of x if x over 4 plus 1 equals 5. So this is linear equation type 1. If you follow our previous episodes where we talk about linear equation, you realize that the method we use here is to find the LCM and multiply each term by the LCM. The denominator is only 4, which means our LCM is 4. We have 3 terms. X over 4 is the first term, 1 is the second term, 5 is the third term. You multiply all these terms by 4. So 4 times x over 4 plus 4 times 1 equals 4 times 5. 4 will cancel the 4 out. X plus 4 times 1 is 4 equals 4 times 5, 20. Then we group like terms. So x equals 20. 4 goes to the other side and becomes minus 4. X will give you 16. So options A, 24, B, 20, C, 19, D, 16. So our correct answer is D. Question 20, 16. All right, question 21 is factorization. Factorize xy plus 5x plus 2y plus 10. This factorization type 2. So you group them into type 1s. You factorize a common term out and keep the others in bracket. So I'll put down the expression on the board. That's question 21. xy plus 5x plus 2y plus 10. So this type 2. You group them into type 1s. So this is the first grouping, second grouping. And make sure that each group will have a common term. So when you look at this first group, you have x, y, and 5x. The common term is x. When you look at 2y and 10, the common term is 2. So you factorize the common out and keep the ones in bracket. So x is the common term. If I divide xy by x, I'm left with y. The same thing here, I'm left with 5. So The bracket contains y plus 5 and x is the common term which has been factored out. The same thing is done here. The common factor is 2. 2y divided by 2 give you y. 10 divided by 2 give you 5. And always when you are factorizing, the brackets in each case should be the same. That is why you have y plus 5, y plus 5. If they are not the same, your factorization is wrong. You need to start again. All right, after this, you pick the common terms in the bracket. You pick only one of it, y plus 5. And then you put the factored ones also in another bracket. So this is your factorized form of this equation, of this expression. Now, with this, you can also decide to bring the x plus 2 before the y plus 5. Multiplication and addition are commutative, so they will all be correct. Let's look at our options. We have x plus 5, 2y plus 10, which is wrong. We have x plus 2, y plus 10, also wrong. C, x plus 5, y plus 2, which is also wrong. And D, x plus 2, y plus 5. So D is our correct answer. Question 22. Now, if X is a set containing members 2, 3, 4, and 5, find the truth set of 2x plus 1 less than 8. 2x plus 1 less than 8. Find the truth set. Find the truth set. So with find the truth set, you just solve the inequality. The answer you get, you write the range or the domain according to the set that has been provided. So what do? Linear inequalities, just like equations. The only difference is the inequality sign. And also with inequality, when you are grouping like terms, always keep the variables at the left-hand side of the inequality sign. So 2x is maintained at the left side, and 1 is sent to the other side to become negative 1. So you have 2x less than 8 minus 1 will give you 7. Divide both sides by the coefficient of x. So x is less than 7 over 2, which is the same as 3.5, or 3 whole number 1 over 2. All right. Now, the question is find the truth set. So finding the truth set means I'm going to look through the set provided and I'll find the values which qualify for this value of x. So x is less than 3.5. So you look for the members in the set that are less than 3.5 and you put them in a curly bracket. That is why they said find the truth set. So this is your curly bracket. X is such that x is a set of real numbers containing, so when you look at this set, less than 3.5 will be 2 and 3. So the values are 2 and 3. 4 is greater than 3.5, which will disqualify or disprove this value. 5 is also greater than 3.5. So you look for the values in the set given which are less than 3.5. So your set will be 2 and 3. That is option B. The values 2 and 3. 2 and 3. All right, that is very simple. As for questions under inequalities and equations, they are very simple. We have a tutorial set on equation. You can watch the video description. You'll find that and you go through for broader or better understanding of linear equations. Now we go to question 23. 23 is also inequality, which says solve the inequality 7x minus 10x plus 3 greater than negative 9. Okay, so this is our inequality. Remember that the negative in front of this bracket is affecting all the terms in the bracket. So you have the question 7x minus into bracket 10x plus x greater than negative, greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to negative 9. So you expand this bracket first. 7x, the negative affect this to give you negative 10x. The same thing happens with 3 to make it negative 3, greater or equal to negative 9. What do? We group like terms. Always remember, variables should be kept at the left-hand side for inequalities. So we have 7x minus 10x greater or equal to minus 9. 3 will go to the other side and become positive 3. 7x minus 10x will give you minus 3x or negative 3x. Greater or equal to negative 9 plus 3 will give you negative 6. We are looking for x, so we divide both sides by negative 3, which is the coefficient of x. So negative 3, negative 3. Negative will cancel, 3 will cancel. But when we divide x by negative number, in other words, when the coefficient of the x is negative, the principle is that the sign will change. So here, instead of greater than or equal to, we will now have x is less than or equal to. Negative will cancel, 3 will go into 6 2 times. So x is less than or equal to 2. Take note of this important principle. When you divide under inequalities, when you divide the x term by negative number, it affects the sign. So the sign will change. So this one was greater than or equal to. Because we divided the x by negative, it has become less than or equal to 2. So we'll look at our options. We have A, x is greater than or equal to 2. B, x is less than or equal to 4. C, x is greater than or equal to 4. And D, x is less than or equal to 4. So our correct answer is D. X is less than or equal to 2. Now we go to question 24. Question 24 is mapping. Now with mapping, there are two methods to calculate for the rule of the mapping, and that's of course the question here. You can use the common difference formula or you can use observation. Many students are not good with observation, so they have to resort to the common difference formula. But that one also is restricted. When the difference between the codomain are not common or are not constant, there is no constant difference between the codomain, the difference or the common difference method is not applicable, which means you have to still use the observation method. So whatever case, the observation still works. So you need to understand that. All right, let me put the mapping on the board. So we have x mapping to y. Then we have the domain, the members of the domain 1 up to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, up to 5. That's right, up to 5. And the members of the codomain 7, 11, 15, 19. 7, 11, 15, 19, 23. And the question says, find the rule of the mapping. To check if the constant difference formula will work, first you have to check for the difference between the codomains. So first, 7 and 11, the difference is 4. 15 and 11, the difference is 4. 19 and 15, the difference is 4. 23 and 19, the difference is 4, which means that it has a common difference. Common difference is represented by the symbol A. So A is 4. The common difference is the common difference in the codomain divided by the common difference in the domain. But the domain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means the common difference is 1. So 4 over 1, which will still give you 4. So A is 4. That's the common difference. Common difference of the codomain divided by common difference of the domain. The domain has a difference of what? 1, 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. So your common difference is the common difference between the codomain over common difference between the domain. Now the codomain are the images, that is the y values, and the domain is the x values, that's the object or the point. Now after getting your common difference, now before that, you know that the general formula for a linear function is y equals ax plus b. So this is your A. Now you take your A, which is your common difference, and you use any of the 2 points given. So you use 1 point of the domain and its corresponding point of the codomain. So you have using 1 and 7. You can also decide to use 2 and 11. You get the same answer. 3 and 15, the same answer. 4 and 19, 5 and 23, the same answer. All right. So you are using this. This is your x term. This is your y term. Every point has x coordinate and y coordinate. And this is your common difference, which is 4a. So you substitute them into the general function of a linear equation. So this is y, 7, equals a. A is 4. Multiplying x, 1, plus b. We are finding b, which is a constant. So 7 equals 4 times 1, 4, plus b. Group like terms, b is equal to 7 minus 4. B is equal to 3. So the constant is 3. Then now you rewrite the general equation or the general function, now substituting your a and your b. So now the rule of the mapping becomes y equals a is 4, x plus b. What is b? 3. So this is your the rule. This rule is also written as x maps to 4x plus 3, so that this one becomes your y. Look here, x maps to y. So when I say x maps to this, it means this is equal to y. So this is written as this. Most often when you have to find rule, you are expected to write the rule in this way. But when you are using the rule to calculate for values of codomain or domain, you have to use this one, x and y. All right, let's look at the possible options. A, we have x maps to 4x minus 3. B, x maps to 3 minus 4x. C, x maps to 4x plus 3. And D, x maps to 4x plus 5. So our correct answer will be C, x maps to 4x plus 3. What this rule means that? This rule means that when you take each value for x, you multiply that value by 4 and you add 3. So when I take 1, I multiply 1 by 4, I'll get 4, plus 3, 7. When I take 2, I multiply by 4, 8, plus 3, 11. When I take 3, multiply by 4, 12, plus 3, 15. When I take 4, multiply by 4, 16, plus 3, 19. 5 by 4, 20, plus 3, 23. You can do that for multiple values for domain, and you get a respective codomain. All right, so that is your rule. With the observation method, you just have to look at the thing and look at the mapping and look at what happened to this to give you that. With that one, you need to do several questions before you can become master of it. All right, that's not our subject for today. Today we are solving past questions. So we'll make another session where we'll talk about mappings and relations. Now let's proceed to question 25. Question 25 is find the circumference of a circle whose area is equal to 64 pi square centimeters. So the area of a square, 64 pi centimeters squared. Students will say, hey, where from the pi? So you realize that in the general formula for area of a square, area of a circle, we are dealing with a circle. Find the circumference of the circle. So the general formula for area of a circle, we have pi r squared. So the only thing that gave us this was that the pi was not converted to the 22/7 as you know. So the pi was kept like that. Okay. Now we are asked to find the circumference. To find the circumference of a circle, the formula is 2 pi r. 2 times pi times r, where r is radius. But we don't know the radius. So we use the formula for area to find the radius, and then we substitute it into the formula to get our circumference. How do we do that? Area equals 64 pi centimeters squared. All right. Because we are calculating, we can eliminate the unit for now. Area is pi r squared equals 64 pi. I want to get r, so I divide by pi, divide by pi. The pi will cancel the pi. Pi will also cancel the pi. We have r squared or radius squared equals 64. How do we get r? We are looking for r, not r squared. So we find the square root of both sides, so that the squares cancel the square. Now r is equal to square root of 68 is 8. 64, sorry, is 8. So square root of 64 means a number that multiplies itself to give you 64. So So 8 times 8 is 64. So radius is 8 centimeters. Now, the question is find the circumference. So now I have my radius. I will substitute it into the formula for circumference. 2 times pi times r, which is 8. Now, when you look at the possible answers, you have 32 pi, 16 pi, 8 pi, 4 pi, which means the pi is not changed. The pi is a constant, which is 22/7. But because of this question, it's not changed. That's why answer is still in pi radians. So for that reason, I also don't change my pi. So I multiply the constant. 8 times 2 give me 16 and the pi. So my circumference becomes 16 pi centimeters. Let's look at our possible answers. A, 32 pi, B, 16 pi, C, 8 pi, and D, 4 pi. So our answer is 16 pi centimeters, which is option B. Option B. All right. I believe you are understanding what we are doing. You have your resource pack. You follow. There's a solution and explanation to it. If you have any question, leave a comment. We'll be sure to get back to you. All right, let's go to the next question, which is 26. Which of the following geometric figures is a plane shape of a cube? A, circle, B, rectangle, C, square, and D, triangle. So when we take a cube, simply, a cube has a base area of a square. So it means that when the question asks you that which of the following geometric figures is plane shape of a cube, the answer is a square, which is C. It means a cube is formed from a square. And I want to give you other examples. When we take a cuboid, its base area or plane shape is a rectangle. When you take a cylinder, its plane shape is a circle, and so on and so forth. So the base or the plane figure for a cube is a square. That is option C. We are done. 27. How many lines of symmetry has a rectangle? The answer is 2. That is C. 2. So a rectangle has 2 lines of symmetry. What is a line of symmetry? A line of symmetry is an imaginary line that divides a plane figure or an object into 2 equal halves. When you take a rectangle has opposite sides equal. Unlike a square that has all sides equal, a rectangle has opposite sides equal, which means this side is equal to this side is equal to this. But this side and this side are unequal. And for that reason, we can't divide it this way and this way to get equal halves. So the only thing that gives equal halves is their diagonals. So this is a diagonal, this is another diagonal. So 2 lines of symmetry will divide a rectangle into 2 equal halves. All right, you should know that as well. A square has 4 sides of symmetry. A triangle, we have types of triangle. An equilateral triangle, an isosceles triangle, they all have 1 line of symmetry. And the third type, which is a scalene triangle, has no line of symmetry, which means there is no line that can divide a scalene triangle into 2 equal halves. All right, so according to our question, 2 is the number of symmetry for rectangle. Now question 28. 28. A rectangular box has length 20 centimeters, width 6 centimeters, and height 4 centimeters. Find how many cubes of side 2 centimeters that will fill into the box, or that will fit into the box. So first, get the picture the question is trying to paint over here. We have a rectangular box. So if I want to help you diagrammatically, I can draw a cuboid. A cuboid is a rectangular box. So this is a rectangular box. And the question said that it has length 20. So assume this is a length 20 centimeters. Width 6 centimeters. And height 4 centimeters. How many cubes of side 2 centimeters that will fit into the box? So for the cube to fit into the box, the cube should have the same volume as the volume of the rectangular box. So the first thing you calculate is the volume of the rectangular box. Volume refers to the space, amount of space that can be contained in that rectangular box. And volume of a cuboid or a rectangular box is length times breadth times height. The breadth is also called width. In this case, we are given width, so we go according to the question. Length is 20, width is 6, and then height is 4. 20 times 6 is 120 times 4, and that will give you 480 cubic centimeters. Volume is always measured in cubic centimeters because we have centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So this is the amount of space that is occupied by the rectangular box. Now we are going to fill this rectangular box with cubes. Cubes, I told you from this question, a cube has its base to be what? A square. And all sides are equal, which means that all sides of a cube are also equal. Okay, so the cube has side of 2 centimeters. So it means that the volume of a cube, a single cube, is 2 centimeters. So if I'm drawing a cube, or I'm helping you diagrammatically, a cube mostly looks like a cuboid. The only difference is that a cube has all its sides equal, but a cuboid does not. So if they say that a cube has side 2 centimeters, it means all the other sides are 2. Because we have already established the fact that all sides are equal. So length is 2, breadth is 2, height is also what? 2. So the volume of a cube is length times length times length. Why? Because all the sides are equal. So 2 times 2 times 2. That will give you 8 cubic centimeters. Now, each cube is occupying a space of 8 cubic centimeters. And the total volume to be occupied is 480 cubic centimeters. So how many cube or how many boxes of cube can fill this? What do? You just divide the volume of the rectangular box by the volume of 1 cube, which is 8 cubic centimeters. This will cancel this. Now, 8 will divide what? 480 how many times? 60 times. So it means that we need a total number of 60 cubes of 8 cubic centimeters each to fill or to fit completely or perfectly the rectangular box of volume 480 cubic meters. So when you consider the options, we have A 120, B 60, C 30, and D 50, which means our correct answer is B. We need 60. 60 of the cubes of 8 cubic centimeters each to fit perfectly into the rectangular box. So that's our answer for question 28. All right, so we continue with question 29. 29, which talks about polygons. The question is the interior angle of a regular polygon is 120 degrees. How many sides has the polygon? Now, the formula for interior angle. Now, we have different formulas or formulae under polygons. We have sum of interior angle, we have interior angle, we have sum of exterior angle, and we have exterior angle. Here, we are talking about interior angle. So the formula is n minus 2 times 180 degrees all over n, where n is the number of sides. Where n is the number of sides. Now, this question says the interior angle of the regular polygon is 120, which means this formula with the interior angle is 120 degrees. Find the number of sides, or how many sides has the polygon, which is n. So indirectly, we are calculating for n. Quickly, you can use cross multiplication. So you have n minus 2 times 180 equals this times this. That's 120n. We can eliminate the degrees for now. We'll put, because the degrees will cancel out eventually. All right, now here we have to expand. So when we expand, we have 180n minus 180 times 2 is 360 equals 120n. Then we group like terms. 180n minus 120n. This will go to the other side and become 360 positive. 180 minus 120 is 60n equals 360. We want to find n. So we divide both sides by 60. 60 will go into 366 times, which means the polygon has 6 sides. So n, which is the number of sides, is 6. So let's look at the options. We have A 2, A is 3, B is 4, C is 5, and D is 6. So the correct answer is D, 6 sides. Number 30. I believe you're enjoying. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell a friend to also come and subscribe and also enjoy this free online tutorials. All right, question 30 has to do with plane geometry. We have a composite shape and we have to find some unknown angles. So I'll just do the diagram on the board for you. All right, we have PQS and R. And we have Q 112. Those who have the resource pack can follow as I write. All right, we also have X as this angle. Now, very importantly, many students, when they find questions under plane geometry, they don't read the actual word question under it. Because sometimes there are hidden information that will only be revealed when you read the word question. Look at this. In the diagram above, length PS is equal to length SQ, which means that this triangle is actually isosceles. And without this information, you can't even solve the question. So if you don't read the word question, you have problems. All right. And SQR angle is 112. That's the find the value of X. So we are finding this. Now, this angle is within triangle PQS. And this angle is angle PSQ. PSQ or S or QSP. So take note, 3-point angles, which means that the middle one is the actual angle we are talking about. So PSQ, this angle, X. Now, to find this angle, we need these two so that we use properties of a triangle. Interior angles of a triangle sum up to 180. Then we can also get this angle. Why? Because this angle and this angle are adjacent. And we know that adjacent angles on a straight line sum up to 180 degrees. So let's write the relation for that. 112 degrees plus angle SQP. SQP, this one, equals 180. So so angle SQP, you group like terms, 180 minus 112. What would that give you? 68 degrees. 68 degrees. Now, it means that this angle is 68. But this vital information shows that this triangle is isosceles, which means their base angles are equal. So this angle is also 68. Then now, we can find our X. So 68 degrees plus 68 degrees plus X equals 180. And the principle here is that what? Interior angles of a triangle sum up to 180 degrees. Now, 68 plus 68 will give you what? 8 plus 8 is 16. Remember 1. 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 1, 13. 136 degrees plus X equals 180. X equals group like terms, 180 minus 136. Therefore, X equals what? 44 degrees. 44 degrees. Now let's look for our options. We have option A, 68 degrees, B, 56 degrees, C, 46 degrees, and D, 44 degrees. So our option is D, 44 degrees. Plane geometry is very tricky. So you have to understand the question. You have to understand all the principles that are applicable as and when you are solving. And if you don't know the principle, it becomes very difficult to solve the question. So you see many students skipping it. But you can do it. You can do it.